I get so excited thinking about this 197-pound bracket. We've been talking about this one all year long. So many contenders. You have Stephen Buchanan transferring from Oklahoma to Iowa. You have Jacob Cardenas transferring from Cornell to Michigan. AJ Ferrari, we didn't know where he was going to go. And right before the season, Cal State, Bakersfield. And then the emergence for Penn State. We didn't know who their 97 was going to be. Is it going to be Lucas Cochran? Could it be Josh Barr? And then Josh Barr left no doubt in that first month and has been one of the top stories of this weight class all year long. And now Barr is a story here for another reason, the injury he suffered at the Big Ten Championships, and we don't know exactly how healthy he is. So in this video, I'm going to give you my national champion, my All-Americans, round of 12. I'm going to give you some sleepers to keep an eye out for. I've got a couple, 3 in total for 197 pounds. I'm going to give you some of the more interesting early matchups we're going to see, and there are a ton of this because this is a very, very deep weight class, and the way some of the seeding worked created a bunch of really interesting early round matchups. So let's start with it. Who are the title contenders in my mind? Okay, some weights I've had 1, some weights I've had 2, 3, and this weight, this is the most I've had, 4. Those title contenders are number 1 seed Jacob Cardenas, number 2 Stephen Buchanan, number 3 AJ Ferrari, and number 4 seed Josh Barr. Jacob Cardenas is obviously a title contender. He just won Big Tens beating Josh Barr and Stephen Buchanan. Josh Barr is a title contender because I saw this dude beat Jacob Cardenas earlier this year. I know what he's capable of. Stephen Buchanan was the most solid guy. He was the most proven guy going into the conference tournament for Iowa. He was a clear number 1 ranked guy before falling narrowly to Jacob Cardenas. And of course, AJ Ferrari. You're not going to not mention AJ Ferrari. This guy is a national champion back in 2021. Took a circuitous path to get to Bakersfield, but he's there, and I'll be darned if he isn't undefeated, the 3 seed conference champion, looking for his second NCAA title. You're crazy if you don't think AJ can win a national title, okay? And that's kind of where my list stops. There's maybe some other guys that you would put in that list. I would not. I think it's the national champion is going to come from those 4. Okay, a couple of names to look out for in the lower seeds. Stephen Little, I think he's got a great path. I think there's a chance we see him wrestle in the semifinal. Think about this. He's going to have Michael Beard in the second round. He's beaten Michael Beard. In that quarterfinal, he would have Josh Barr. Josh Barr beat him in sudden victory this year, but if there's a slight impediment for Josh Barr, if he's slightly off, you could very well see how Stephen Little could win that match and punch his ticket to the semifinals out of the 12. Now, similarly, you think about the path for Josh Barr. It is really tough. After the first round, second round, he would have Trey Munoz. This is a guy who pushed Stephen Buchanan to the brink this year. He's a multiple All-American, placed really high at the national tournament in the past, and that's who Josh Barr would have in the second round. Should Barr get by Munoz, then that would set up the Little quarterfinal. If it's not Little, it would be Michael Beard. Now, Michael Beard is someone that you would feel better about, actually. Even though he's the higher seeded guy, Josh Barr dominated him in their meeting. So you'd feel better about that compared to the tight match Little and Barr had. So that quarter is just a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of potential for chaos in that group. Another good early round match, Andy Smith, Zach Glazier. That's round 1. These two hit at NCAAs last year. It was Andy Smith the winner. If Zach Glazier wins, that sets up the AJ Ferrari, Zach Glazier Soldier Salute rematch where it all went down, where everything went crazy. Those two could wrestle in round 2. That's a 3 versus 14 that is going to get more eyeballs than a lot of matches this tournament, including mine. That will be a very fantastic, exciting, drama-filled match. So let me cut to the chase. How do I see this weight class going? Who do I see winning? If you've been listening to me talk about this weight class, I've been consistent all year long. AJ Ferrari. And I have seen nothing to get me off that path. AJ, for all his bluster and bravado, is a really smart and tactical wrestler. And it starts with the basics, the fundamentals, his defense, his head hands, his incredible speed to the leg, his proficient finishing, and maybe the number one thing, his differentiator, his ability to ride. He's not the most prolific turner. He may be the first one to tell you, but he is not going to give away any free escapes, and he's really tough to get away from. So that package, I think, is going to be enough to deliver him an NCAA title. I have him going through Zach Glazier in round 2, Mac Stout from Pitt. It's probably going to be one of the Stout brothers. I think it's Mac, and I think that's a great matchup for him to punch his ticket to the semi where he would have Stephen Buchanan. And I think a lot of Stephen Buchanan, but familiarity matters. I think AJ's coming into his best wrestling of the year, and he's beaten him a couple times. Stephen Buchanan is undoubtedly better than he was when AJ beat him. But I don't think AJ is, I believe AJ's better as well. So with all those things factored in, I think AJ wins an ugly match. Maybe it's riding time. Maybe it's a late takedown. Maybe it's a counter score. But I think he finds a way to get it done. And then I think he beats Jacob Cardenas in that finals match. I think that's going to be another really low-scoring match. Both those guys are very tactical. They wrestle from space. They're not going to volume attack. I think they're both going to have a lot of respect for each other. They were actually go back to the Bergen Catholic days. I think they were teammates for a time. But I think it's going to be a great potential final. But I think there's a lot of different finals combinations we could see because I think there's 4 legit title contenders. But that's how I have it. Here's my podium. I've got AJ Ferrari in first, second, Jacob Cardenas, third, Stephen Buchanan, fourth place, Josh Barr, fifth, the 12 seed, Stephen Little, sixth, Wyatt Volker from UNI, seventh, Zach Bronigal, eighth, Luke Serber, Oklahoma State, and in the round of 12. I've got Stephen Little beating Isaiah Salazar of Minnesota. Salazar, a previous All-American. Can't count him out. His pedigree is there. I have Luke Serber beating Camden McDaniel in the round of 12. Those two wrestled at Vegas. It was a Serber win. But McDaniel, I really like what I've seen from him. He's one of my bigger sleepers out of the 20. I think he could have a nice tournament. And then in the round of 12, this is a really tough group here. Look, I have Trey Munoz going through Michael Beard in the round of 16. And then Munoz gets Wyatt Volker in the round of 12. And I have Munoz falling there. If you watch Wyatt Volker, I think Kozak said it best on the show. This is a guy that's designed to wrestle 3-day, gritty, grimy tournaments. He's tough. He can really scramble. He attacks the legs. Good from everywhere. And he seemingly just continues to get better and better at UNI. So I have him beating Trey Munoz. And then I have Zach Bronigal beating Mac Stout in that round of 12. So as you can see, there's a lot of guys that I think have potential to not just place, but place really high. I mean, if Trey Munoz out of the 13 goes on a run, I'm not that surprised. I think it would just be a return to form, a version of him we'd seen. We hadn't seen it. We didn't see it at Pac-12, so we haven't seen it much this year. But I think that is still there, very much a part of the Trey Munoz package. So a very, very exciting tournament, one that's going to have a lot of eyeballs. People are just flat out interested in anything AJ Ferrari does. And from round 1 on, I think everyone's going to be watching to see what AJ does and doesn't do, right? AJ's talked about the composure he's had to work on since getting to Bakersfield and the steps that the staff have gone through to hopefully, bring about that peace on the mat so that he can do what he does, which is wrestle at an extremely high level. This is going to be an incredible weight class. 4 very, very capable guys. All eyes on that Josh Barr leg injury. I'm not sure if it was knee or ankle. I think we've heard knee. Don't know for sure. But one thing with the Penn State and their training staff, unless you hear it's really bad, you kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, look no further than what Karstarachi did last year. He didn't wrestle a match at the Big Ten Championships. He was hurt right before then. And he did what he did at NCAAs and really proved just what a gritty competitor he is, but the training staff and how they're able to get guys ready. And you just can't help but believe that Josh Barr is probably going to be able to do something similar. So really fun weight class. I can't wait for it. I want to know who you have taken home the gold at 197 pounds. Give me your national champion in Philly.